Welcome back to Udisha's YouTube channel. Today we are going to bake another product which is going to be tarts. Now before making tarts, I want to make the base. That base is called a short-crust pastry. Now I got this dough made. This is the short-crust pastry dough. If you look at this dough, which is not having any elasticity in the dough. And this dough is made only with the 3 ingredients. So let us see how to make the short-crust pastry dough. We need 150 grams of maida, 60 grams of powdered sugar, and 100 grams of chilled butter. I'm going to add all these ingredients together in a mixing bowl. That's the maida, sugar, and the butter. Now this is chilled butter. It is supposed to be chilled butter, not very soft, creamy or melted butter. It has to be in the solid form. So as it is in the solid form, it's difficult to mix it with the other ingredients. So I'm going to cut this into smaller cubes or pieces, which will be easy for me to work with the maida and the sugar. Now if you ask me why chilled butter, the chilled butter gives the complete texture for the final product. So it has to be chilled butter like this. Now I'm going to mix all this together so as to get a sandy texture. I'm working with the tip of the fingers. I don't want to allow the butter to touch the palm, and because of body temperature, the butter getting melted. To avoid that, I'm very careful on having only minimal contact with the butter. Now we got the sandy texture. You can see the 3 ingredients, maida, powdered sugar and the butter, are made into a crumbly texture. Now this particular crumble of these 3 ingredients are used in many products. Banana crumble, mixed berry crumbles, or any fruit crumbles are made with this. We will be having those videos posted in the future. So make sure you subscribe the channel and hit that bell icon so as to get the notification of all the new videos. Now, once we get a sandy texture like this, I'm going to add just a tablespoon of chilled milk. You can use chilled water or chilled milk so as to combine the ingredients and going to get this into a dough form. Now we got this dough consistency. If you pull this dough, it's not elastic like the regular maida dough. It is a crumbly texture. This is what is needed for the short-crust pastry, or the products we prepare with the short-crust pastry. Now, if we wrap this with a cling film and leave it in the refrigerator for around 15-20 minutes, it's better because the butter will chill down and becomes a little hard. And that gives a nice crumbly texture for the final product. Now let's see how to prepare the tartlets. We are going to use these tartlet molds, and we'll make individual small portion tarts, and we'll fill it with the custard and fruits later. I've got some maida for dusting here. Once you get this short-crust pastry spread into a 1/4 inch thickness sheet like this, I'm going to release the sheet from the table. For that I'm using this palette knife, just pulling this like this. I'll portion these sheets into small circles which I'll be using in the tartlet mold. Once it is lined in the tartlet mold, I will take out the excess. and just press the sheet inside so as to make it uniformly lined in the tartlet mold like this. We can reuse this trimmings to make the sheet again. Now I will show you another way of lining the tartlet mold. This needs a little more of practice. I just took a portion of the dough and started pressing this, basically lining it in the tartlet mold by spreading the dough from the center towards the side like this, and you can take out the excess. Where the work is easy, but you need little practice on having it uniformly spread inside the tartlet mold like this. Now the tartlets are ready for baking. Before baking, I have to do some docking. Docking is just having some holes on the base of this sheet so as to avoid the tarts rising on the middle at the time of baking. Right, now the tartlets are ready for baking. Now we have to preheat the oven. I'm going to keep the temperature at 160 degrees Celsius, both the coils on, and preheating for 10 minutes. I'm going to leave this lined tartlet molds in the refrigerator for another 10 minutes. That means when the oven is ready for baking, we will take it out from the refrigerator and we'll start baking. The oven is preheated with 160 degrees Celsius. Now it's time for baking. I'll leave this tartlets inside the oven. Same 160 degrees Celsius, both the coils on. I'll be keeping it for 12 minutes. The baking time is 12 to 15 minutes. After 12 minutes, we will check whether it is done. I will show you the indications telling that whether the tart is done or not. So after 12 minutes of baking, I'm taking this tartlets out. You can see the color. The brown color on the edges is the indication telling that it's done. Now we have to wait for it to cool down. Once it cools down, I will show you how to demold this. We'll start demolding it. You have to just tap this and it will be coming off from the mold just like that. Now the tart shells are ready for the filling. We are going to make some custard and garnish with some fruits. I have to boil 1 cup of milk. Got quarter cup of milk here for dissolving the custard powder. So 1 cup of milk with 2 tablespoons of custard powder. This is what I am using here. Here the milk started boiling, adding quarter cup of sugar to it, and now adding the custard powder which is dissolved in the milk, and keep stirring it. Once the custard is thickened like this, we'll take it off from the heat. It took around 5 minutes of cooking. I'll fill this tart shells with the custard and leave it for cooling it. The custard has to set or have to become thick.